Wait, before you buy an LG fridge, you need to know which models are genuinely daily life great and which ones only look great on a product page. Today, we're counting down the 7 best LG refrigerators based on real, lived-in usability, storage, ice, water, layout, and the little annoyances you only notice after a week of ownership. The open loop. Number 1 isn't just bigger or pricier, it fixes the most common frustrations people have with modern fridges, especially around access, organization, and where did all my space go? 7. LG LRSOS 2706S. The LG is the flashy side-by-side that instantly grabs attention because of its InstaView-style glass panel and modern, flat-door look. In day-to-day use, the side-by-side format is great for households that want freezer food at eye level, and it's surprisingly convenient for grabbing frozen items without bending into a drawer every time. After loading it up like a normal week, milk, meal prep containers, tall bottles, and a couple of frozen pizza boxes, the first thing noticed is how organized it feels by default. The vertical split forces you to think in columns. Beverages and condiments in the fridge door area, frozen staples lined up like books in the freezer section. It's also the kind of layout that makes it easy to see everything at once, which helps reduce the mystery leftovers problem. Ice lovers will appreciate that this model is commonly listed with a dual ice setup that can include craft ice, those slow-melting spheres that make any drink feel premium. In testing, it's fun, but also a little special occasion. If the household goes through a lot of regular cubes daily, kids, iced coffee, big water bottles, the craft ice feature can feel like a bonus rather than the main reason to buy the fridge. Here's where the criticism starts. Side-by-sides can be limiting for wide items. A big sheet pan, a wide serving platter, or that oversized pizza box can turn into a frustrating game of fridge Tetris. 6. LG LRF-LC 2706S. The LRF moves into French door territory and immediately feels more family practical than a side-by-side. The big advantage here is how the top fridge compartment opens wide, making it easier to slide in wider dishes, meal prep trays, and party platters without fighting the layout. It's also marketed around being a large capacity counter depth option, which is exactly what many people want, a built-in look without sacrificing storage. In everyday use, the French door design makes fresh food organization simpler. Produce, dairy, leftovers, and drinks all become easier to group by zone. That 2-door opening also means less cold air spill when only one person is grabbing something quickly, which helps temperature stability in busy homes. This model is often listed with an internal water dispenser and an ice maker. And yes, the internal dispenser keeps the outside clean, no bulky external cutout, no constant wiping of fingerprints around the dispenser area. But being honest, internal dispensers can be less convenient when you're refilling big bottles or pitchers non-stop, because you're opening the door every time. In testing, it feels sleek, but not always the fastest grab water and go solution. It's also positioned around LG's cooling features, like Door Cooling Plus and Linear Cooling on listings for this model family, meant to keep temps consistent and help food stay fresh. In practical terms, the fridge feels evenly cold, less of that annoying warm pocket near the door bins. Number 5. LG LFXS 26973S. The LFXS is one of those models that doesn't need to scream for attention. It wins by being a well-rounded mainstream French door fridge size that fits a lot of kitchens. It's marketed as a 26 Q-feet smart Wi-Fi-enabled French door refrigerator. And in day-to-day use, that capacity lands in a sweet spot. Big enough for a family's weekly shop, but not so oversized that it dominates the kitchen. What stood out in testing was how normal it feels, in a good way. Shelves, drawers, and door bins work the way people expect, and the fridge doesn't force a major learning curve to get organized. That matters because the best fridge is the one that helps the household stay consistent. Groceries visible, leftovers not forgotten, and drinks easy to grab. Wi-Fi features sound optional until they're useful, like getting maintenance alerts, monitoring temps, or troubleshooting without immediately calling service. Even if smart features are rarely used, it's nice knowing they're there, especially for people who travel or who want a bit more control. The overall cooling and freshness experience feels solid, especially for everyday staples: milk, produce, cooked foods, and drinks. And because it's a more common capacity class, replacement filters, accessories, and general ownership knowledge are easier to find compared to niche or ultra-new models. The main downside is that it may not feel like a wow upgrade if someone is chasing the newest design language or the most premium ice setup. 4. LG LRFXS 3106S. The LRFX steps up into the bigger league, often shown as a 31 cubic feet standard depth max French door style with modern smart features. Immediately, the experience feels like bulk shopping friendly, the kind of fridge that actually makes Costco runs easier instead of stressful. In testing, it swallowed big containers, beverage packs, and tall bottles without forcing constant shelf rearranging. A highlight on listings is the dual ice approach, plus features like door cooling plus and linear cooling, aiming for consistent temps and better edge-to-edge cooling. In real life, the practical benefit is simple. The door bins don't feel like the warm zone, and drinks cool down evenly without needing to play musical chairs inside the fridge. If the household uses a lot of ice, dual ice can be a real quality of life upgrade. Less running out during gatherings, less refilling trays, less frustration. It's the kind of feature that seems minor until it's summer, you're hosting, and everyone suddenly wants iced everything. Storage is also helped by thoughtful organization details shown on retailer specs, multiple shelves, bins, and a multi-tier freezer setup on similar listings. The freezer, in particular, feels less like a single chaotic drawer and more like a system you can actually keep tidy. The only caution: with bigger standard depth fridges, fit is everything. This is the model where measuring doorways, cabinet clearance, and how far the doors swing becomes non-negotiable, because 31 cubic feet doesn't matter if it can't get into the kitchen cleanly. 3. LL31H6530S. The LL, often shown through retailers like Lowe's, targets people who want a huge French door fridge with serious entertaining energy, especially because it's marketed with dual ice makers that can produce cubed, crushed, and craft ice. That combination is a big deal for households that want everyday ice and the fancy slow-melting kind for drinks. In testing, it's the model where guests actually comment on the ice. Another premium touch is the stainless steel interior wall, which isn't just about looks. It can help with temperature retention and gives the fridge a more high-end feel when you open the doors. It's one of those features that makes the appliance feel built, not just assembled. Space is the headline here. The listing shows a 30.7 cubic feet total capacity. That means big grocery hauls stop being a balancing act, and it becomes easier to keep sections dedicated. One shelf for ready to eat, one for meal prep, one for dairy and breakfast, and so on. Smart features are also part of the package on the listing: Wi-Fi, app compatibility, and even voice control support. In real use, it's not about talking to the fridge every day. It's about getting alerts, monitoring, and having a modern appliance ecosystem that doesn't feel outdated in 2 years. There are some real-world annoyances noted in customer feedback on the same page, things like dispenser quirks, door closing feel, and limited shelf adjustability for certain setups. During testing, shelf flexibility is the main thing noticed. If the household uses unusually tall containers, the perfect configuration may take more trial and error than expected. 2. LG LRYKC266S. The LRY is where the lineup starts to feel purpose-built for convenience, especially if the household is constantly in and out of the fridge all day. It's positioned as a modern French door model with a strong focus on organization and everyday usability, rather than one single flashy gimmick. In testing, what stands out is the flow of the fridge. Groceries unload quickly, drinks are easy to place, and leftovers don't disappear into the back as easily. That sounds small, but it's the difference between a fridge that supports meal planning and a fridge that quietly creates food waste. Cooling consistency is a big deal at this tier, and LG frequently highlights tech like Door Cooling Plus and linear cooling across this generation of models to help maintain stable temps. In practice, it means fewer warm corners, less freezing at the back, and a more predictable environment for produce and dairy. This is also the point in the countdown where the fridge feels like it's designed for real households, not just showrooms. The balance between capacity, layout, and daily access feels intentional, like the brand has learned what people complain about and quietly fixed it. If number 3 felt like the party house fridge, number 2 feels like the busy family fridge that still looks premium. It's the model that makes the kitchen feel calmer because you aren't constantly rearranging items to make them fit. 1. LG LRM VS306S. The LG LRM earns the top spot because it feels like the most complete upgrade. Premium layout, better zoning, and the kind of access that makes the fridge easier to live with every single day. It's part of LG's high-end French door family, where capacity and convenience are both treated as priorities, not trade-offs. In testing, the biggest win is how it handles real routines: breakfast rush, quick lunch grabs, late-night leftovers, and big weekend restocks. Everything stays easier to find, and the fridge feels less cluttered because the space is divided in a way that encourages organization. This is also the point where premium features stop being nice and start being genuinely useful. Strong ice capability, consistent cooling tech, and smart support combine into a fridge that feels dependable, especially for households that cook a lot, entertain occasionally, and rely on cold storage daily. The design language also matches modern kitchens: clean lines, a built-in vibe, and that flagship feeling when you open it. It's the type of fridge that makes the kitchen feel upgraded, even if nothing else changes. Most importantly, it feels like the model that best avoids the two biggest frustrations from the lower ranks: the space-shape limitations of a side-by-side and the convenience compromises of internal-only access choices. If the goal is to buy one LG fridge and be done thinking about fridges for a long time, this is the one that feels the most future-proof in everyday use. Final thought. That's all for today, folks.